Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be showing you how to make Cuban style pastelito de queso y guayaba y queso. You're just going to need some parchment paper, a flat baking pan, an egg, guayaba, cream cheese. I'll just list a few things down below, or maybe I'll have like a little image in the screen that you'll probably see, because it's a few things that you do need to get to be able to make these. These are super easy to make. It honestly doesn't even take more than like 10 minutes to make in the oven, so this is very, very fast. So yeah, just keep watching. So first you're going to need to get the puff pastry sheet, and I'm going to be doing one at a time. And then this is the part where you're going to get some flour. And then I'm just going to wait for that to kind of catch up. But yeah, you're going to get your flour. You're going to put it on the surface. Kind of put it everywhere so that when you're rolling out the dough, it doesn't stick to anything. Same thing with the rolling pin. So then just go ahead and take your sheets and then just start rolling it out. The more you spread it, the better, because then you can make a lot more. But obviously don't get it to a point where it's going to be falling apart, because then you're really not going to be able to use it. Just do enough to a point where you can kind of... So then I'm going to go ahead and get a knife, and I'm going to cut this into some squared shapes. And then for a lot of... Okay, so the thing is with pastelitos, you don't have to make it a specific shape when you bake it. It's just this is the style that is used the most in a lot of bakeries in Miami, or just in Florida in general. Excuse me. So this is just a style for a lot of like the ones with guayaba y queso. Those, a lot of places, a lot of bakeries tend to make it squared shaped. For the cream cheese one, that tends to be like more like kind of like diamond shaped in a way. Not like the finished product, but like the way you cut it to get it to that shape. You'll see later on. I'm not going to shape them out now. I'm just cutting them into pieces first, and then I'll pretty much separate them. I'm probably going to skip through some of these parts just because it's pretty much repetitive, like the way I'm cutting everything. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead, and then you'll see pretty much what we'll do, like shaping them out once we have everything ready. So now I'm going to go ahead and focus on making the cheese filling. This is pretty much very straightforward. You just get any kind of cream cheese of your liking. And then you kind of have to like sweeten it up. So you can just get some sugar. I know some people like to mix a little bit of syrup to add in a little bit more flavor, like just more sweetness, but you don't have to. I just like adding sugar, and you do have to kind of taste as you go. There's not really like a specific amount of sugar that you have to put. You just taste as you add in. So I'm going to start off adding little by little, and then the heat of this, you do want to have it on high because it's such a big block of cheese. So you can put it on high. It's not going to burn. You just have to keep an eye on it. You don't want to overheat it, because then it's going to be like a very like liquidy consistency. You just want to get it to a point where you can mix in all the sugar. So I'm pretty much starting off on just adding the sugar, and then I'm going to mix it in. You just want to pretty much keep mixing until it gets to the consistency that you'll see like at the end of it when I'm done. So now on your baking pan, you're going to get some parchment paper, and I'm just going to get some scissors, and you just want to cut this into the shape of the size of your pan. That way when you add in the puff pastry sheet, it doesn't stick to anything, and it's just a lot easier to pretty much get off. And it also keeps like the pan clean, so you won't have to like worry about washing it after, especially because in between this video you're gonna see that I'm gonna be sprinkling some sugar on top of the pastelito de queso. So it also helps with the cleanup. So now you're just gonna go ahead and line up the puff pastry. Again, it's already like shaped up. It's like already cut into how I want it. I'm going to add them in. If you're doing the one with quesos and you're making the small one, because keep in mind with pastelitos, you can make them any size that you want. A lot of bakeries make the small ones for like the party, like to have at a party. So they sell like a lot more. Or if you're doing like the bigger ones, then a lot of them like to, it's kind of like a breakfast thing in Miami. A lot of people like to eat pastelitos like for breakfast, or they'll have it at like a party as like a little buffet kind of style. So if you make them smaller, you can obviously fit in a lot more in one pan. If you make it bigger, then obviously you're going to need more than one pan. So you're just going to go ahead and take the filling, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to each one. I like to add the cheese first, and then you can add in the guayaba right after. So I'm going to add cheese to each one first, and then I'll go over and, oh girl, I'm running out of breath, excuse me. But yeah, just add in the cheese to each one and then I'll come back to you. So after you added in all the filling, one thing I forgot to mention, like, which I'm sure you're going to notice now, is you're going to get an egg, and you're going to separate the egg yolk from the egg whites. What you're going to use is the egg whites. You're not going to use the egg yolk at all. The egg whites is going to help add in like that golden color at the end. And if you use it for like the inside, it's going to help like kind of like a glue. It'll help stick like pretty much, like for this one, for example, on the guayaba one, I'm using 2 sheets. So it'll help it stick together so that it won't open up as you're baking it. And then for the one for cheese, you'll see later on that that while I fold it, it'll help stick it so that it doesn't pretty much come apart. And then at the end of this, I'm actually going to skip ahead and then you'll see. So now I'm going to go ahead, and you don't actually have to make a dent in the middle. Like, you don't have to cut a slit. I just like to do it because of the way it turns out, like the look of it. But it's not necessary. You can just leave it like as it was. Just remember to brush in the egg whites on top of each one so that you can get that golden color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for each one. Okay, so now moving on to the cream cheese pastelito. You're just going to add in the filling on both, on the one that you're working on. Don't over add because you're not going to be able to close it. You're going to just fold it on both sides. So with the first one, you'll fold it down, you'll add in the egg wash as the glue, and then fold the opposite side. Then you'll flip it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the second one, pretty much, and turn it around. And then I basically just added in the egg wash on top of that, and then sprinkled over sugar. I forgot to record this part, so I'm so sorry. But then after that, you can go ahead and pop it in the oven. So basically, I'm just going to go ahead and get a little bit of syrup and just brush it over each pastelito, just to give it a little bit more sweetness, and it also gives it that nice shine. I know some people like to just use maple syrup. I just use any syrup. I don't really think it matters, to be honest, but it's all based on preference. So I just did that to each one, and after that, you're pretty much all done. I'm so sorry. One thing I forgot to mention, which I'll probably put in a little note in the beginning of the video, is that the best way to know when these are done is if you flip it over and it's golden on the bottom, then they're done. If it's not golden in the bottom, then you have to put it in the oven for a little bit more. And then once you see that it's golden, it's all good. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see any more videos in the future about cooking or just any other idea in general, please leave a comment below. Please remember to like this video and subscribe. Thanks.